Castano, FightHype.com, here with Coach Edgar Jasso. Coach, what you doing here in San Antonio, man?
I have a kid, a young kid, a young prospect in the undercard, 4 rounds. Ali Medina. We're excited to be in this big card. His U.S. debut. He's fought in Mexico twice. We have good high hopes for this prospect. So. Looking to doing some noise.
Cool, Coach. Can you kind of update the fans on your stable of fighters currently? I know you guys are still working with Charles Martin and Coach Manny. Just talk about some of the stable and the new updates.
Charles Martin. We have Carlos Castro, #1 in the world. Terrell Goucher. This is always a hard question because we have so many fighters that I hate to leave some of the guys out, but we have Anthony Areola, who was in the U.S. Olympic team, who's going to make his pro debut soon. The list goes on.
You guys got a good stable.
We got Fabian Maidana back. Man, we have a big stable. Thank God, man. We have a lot of work.
Good deal, Coach, man. So you guys have been through the game, man. We've seen you guys work with some of the top fighters, and you guys are obviously still in the mix. But I got to get your take, man, because boxing continues to move. What did you make of Andy Ruiz's performance against Chris Areola? What did you make of that fight?
You know what? I'd rather not make a comment on that. He won. He won. A lot of people didn't like this performance, but hey. What can we say? I guess he's got to keep on working and do what he's got to do. We stay working and doing what we got to do. So, like we've always said, mad respect for everybody. We don't wish bad on nobody. Hopefully he's successful and he could become a champion again. He's a great fighter. It's just all up to him.
Yeah, you guys did something that was unprecedented, man. So you guys are always going to go down in history, no matter what.
That's right. It brought us a lot of things. It brought us, we made history with the first Mexican heavyweight, champion of the world. We've met a lot of great people. We've encountered, more fighters and, that's willing to work with us and stuff like that. Thank God we work hard, man, and, we stay busy all the time.
But last thing on that, were you at least surprised that Areola gave him some issues in that fight, or not really?
I was very surprised.
I was too.
A lot of people, didn't give him more than 5-6 rounds, He's a little older, hadn't fought in a while, but hey, it was a surprise for everyone.
Areola showed some defensive skills that we hadn't seen his whole career in that fight.
You know what? I actually bumped into Areola in another PVC card at the Dignity Health,
the old Honda Center.
Yeah, the old Honda Center, and I was speaking to him. And I told him, man, bro, you had a great performance. Are you gonna keep on fighting? He's like, yeah, you know what? If my shoulder's good, I'm gonna keep on fighting. I think he proved himself to maybe put himself in another good fight.
For sure. All right, Coach. I've been following Charles Martin. He recently called out Dillon and Whyte for a potential fight. We don't know if that's gonna take place, but he wants to smoke. What do you think about a potential fight between Charles Martin and Dillon and Whyte?
You know what? I think it would be a great fight. I think it's Charles is the #1 contender. He fought for the eliminator and won against Gerald Washington.
Yep.
We're actually waiting to maybe fight Wilder or
the winner of that.
The winner of that fight. But if Dillon Whyte is the next opponent, then so be it. I think right now in the heavyweight division, everything will be a good fight right now.
So where is Charles? What sanctioning body is he #1 in right now?
WBC.
WBC. Okay, so he's in line for the winner of the Wilder Fury fight, potentially force that fight. Cool, man. What do you make of that Wilder Fury fight? Obviously got canceled, or postponed, I should say.
Right, postponed. I think it's gonna be a great fight. I think we also gotta see, where Wilder's head is at. with everything that's going on. And I'm pretty sure he's working hard, but I gotta give it to Fury, man. I think Fury should take that fight again, and I don't know. I just think his boxing skills will take over.
You would give Fury the edge in that one?
I think so.
Gotcha. Cool, man. And what do you think about this fight? Areola-Spence going to take on the legend Manny Pacquiao off a 2-year layoff and a Thurman victory.
You know what? Can't count Pacquiao out, man. That man, you know, he's a legend, you know, world champion. You know, at that age, he stays healthy. You know, he stays working. So I think it's gonna be a great fight. I think it's gonna be a great fight. I have to give the edge to Spence. So I think Spence is a younger, stronger fighter, but it's due for a good fight.
What is the key in the path to victory for Pacquiao? Does he have to kind of outquick Spence in those early rounds and maybe stay away from that jab?
I mean, I think so. I think he's got to use his speed, you know, box him a little bit more. You know, we just got to see, you know, how his stamina is to keep up with the, you know, with the movement and the speed. You know, I think if he sits there and tries to bang with Arrow, I think that would be Arrow's, you know, specialty.
If Pacquiao were to pull off the upset and defeat the undefeated young champion Areola-Spence, where does that put him on the all-time?
Man, you know, that puts him way up there, man. And like I said, I don't count him off. I mean, I still have that you know, that belief that he could pull it off. You know, if anybody could pull it off, it'll be Pacquiao. So you know, it's gonna be a great fight. But if he really does pull it off, man, that's gonna put him in a very high, you know,
high regard.
Yeah, high regard.
For sure. And then last thing, Coach, you're obviously been in the game. You're a real trainer. You know, you work with real fighters. What do you make of the surge of these YouTube fights and like Jake Paul, Logan Paul, the Mayweather-Logan Paul fight? What do you make of all that?
You know what? I just think it's all, you know, social media. You know.
Do you think it's good or bad for boxing?
I think in a sense, it's not all that good for all the fighters. I mean, you got all these, you know, real fighters who have worked their whole life, you know, trying to have that opportunity to make that kind of money. You know, we got to give it to them. They're changing the game, and they're, I mean, I'm saying not in the boxing world, but I just think in their world, you know, they're making all this kind of money, you know, putting up these exhibition fights or even pro fights against, you know, fighters that have never even fought an amateur fight before, you know, and making all this money. So, I mean, you got to give it to them. They're making their money, but
it's detrimental to the other fighters.
For the real boxing world, you know.
Most definitely. Thanks, Coach.